Well, that was not a great showing from the Chicago Bears last week. I sat here and I preached patience. It's not as bad as it seems because the Bears had an opportunity to come out and really show what they are made of. And unfortunately, what they showed here tonight in Glendale, Arizona was not good.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Adam Ray.
It's Hester trying to work it back to the middle. Gets past the first wave, and here he goes. It's Hester inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. And no flag, 92 yards.
Brought to you by Circa Sports Illinois, the sickest Chicago Bears and fantasy football podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
You wanted the Bears to respond in a positive way, and I was sitting there. Listen, I went out there. I went to the post-game presser of Matt Eberflus and Caleb Williams. Matt Eberflus said, hey, it begins with the coaching and all that. Like, it seems like it's been coached. Like somebody went up there and was like, you got to start taking responsibility. You've got to start taking accountability, which is great. But this is something that should have happened after last week's game. And we see right now how the team responded. They got down early. And then at the end of the first half, I even made the joke on Twitter that, last week's end was bad. It would be hard to top that. And while this wasn't quite as severe, it really was the gut punch that pretty much ended this game. The Bears came out flat in the second half. You could tell they were a little defeated. Caleb even talked about that in the post-game presser, that this was a depressing display and everything like that. And so I'm sitting here, and I know that a lot of people are contemplating the fact that perhaps Matt Eberflus will be high. I don't think it's going to be that rash. The Chicago Bears have never been a team that fires a coach mid-season. But watching Matt Eberflus at the end of the game, it was hard not to get the same vibes that you got during the final days of the Mark Trestman era, where they were getting blown out and he was standing by himself on the sideline. I even pointed out to Omar Ruiz of the NFL Network, who was sitting next to me. I said, listen, I go, the way Matt Eberflus looks right now is pretty much how Mark Trestman looked at the end of his days with the Chicago Bears. So I try to be the most optimistic guy. Last week, we had some positive things to build on. There was Caleb rising up from the ashes, playing very well. That Bears defense, I know the Commanders fans don't want to talk about it, but like the Bears defense shut down Jaden Daniels in the second half of that game. They were forcing 3 and outs. They got the ball back multiple times. This loss is way worse because it could have been so different. We've seen so many times, like think about the famous Bill Belichick press conference, the on to Cincinnati type of stuff. You put losses like last week behind you and you respond by having one of your best performances to date. Unfortunately, the Bears did not do that. There was nothing of the sort. There is nothing to look at from this game and be like, well, at least this happened. And I could sit here and make excuses about the offensive line. There were some injuries. Montez Sweat didn't play. But ultimately, the Bears responded exactly how I did not want them to. That was not the proper response. And for me, there really does need to be accountability. Does that mean that Matt Eberflus is going to be fired by the time that you watch this? Absolutely not. It's not the McCaskey way. I don't even want to say I like to see it. Because as Matt Eberflus and Caleb both reiterated in their post-game pressers, that the team is 4-4. They're 0-0. There's a lot of football left to play. Unfortunately, the easy part of the schedule is behind us. Now we've got the Patriots, which to me should not be taken for granted by any stretch of the imagination. You have the Patriots, and then we have the Packers in 2 weeks. The Packers coming off a bye week. I don't know. I try to remain as optimistic. You know me. And I know I ran into some of the fans before the game. They were like, Rank, you kept me in check last week. I wish I could do. I wish I could do the same for you this week. It's just not there. And this is bitterly disappointing. I'm heading to the airport right now. Be flying back. I'll be on Fantasy Live either today or tomorrow, whenever you're watching this. But this was a rough one. And I've been to some Bears losses over the years. This might have been the worst.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow The Sick Podcast with Adam Rank on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. Brought to you by Circa Sports Illinois.